Hey, Jay here, and we're going to talk about the top products for 2020 that I've discovered. Now, a few of these products have been around longer than just 2020, but maybe they're new to me and we've started using them a lot. And I think this might help you if you're looking for some gifts for somebody or for yourself you might want a gift. So treat yourself. So during this holiday time, it might be good to get an idea of some of the things that some of these products are new products that we've been kind of converted to or things we've learned. So hopefully that'll help you out. So if we're going to start off, and these aren't really in any order. I didn't really pick an order, so I don't want any companies to get mad. And if any of the companies I deal with feel slighted that they aren't in this video, it's because these are just kind of some of the newest, coolest things that we've just started using a little bit more and have had really good results with. First thing I like, this is a company called Taco Moto. Really cool guy out of Vegas. And what he's done is made some unique parts for dual sports. He specializes in a lot of dual sports KTMs. And these are blinkers. They go on your forks like this, and then they provide running lights. I'll have a video going right here of these things flashing on the bike. So cool. They're simply on your forks themselves. Now you do have to, he says you can snap them on. I haven't tried that. I just put them on when I put the forks on. So I put them on the forks. And really cool. We've tried a bunch of different things for blinkers over the years on our dual sport EXC bikes. This was a really cool, easy solution. These are graphic guards. Decal Works is the one that makes these. And so on the right and left side of your bike, if you buy new graphics for your motocross bike, off-road bike, one of the most common things is the graphics wear away. We'll have a couple photos on some bikes here, but these guards will protect those graphics right here and also kind of protect the plastic. When that plastic gets hot, especially on the exhaust side, that plastic gets hot, the graphics wear right away. You have to cut them off and it looks terrible the rest of the time. Also, the plastic will melt. Especially if you have an aftermarket pipe. So having these on works really well. So that's a really cool feature that Decal Works has. Really neat deal. Next thing. This is Moto or Trail MoTool. MotoTool is what it kind of sounds like. This is a sag checker. I always thought this was silly. Like this was for guys that didn't have a friend or whatever who would help them check their sag. I've gotten so used to using this thing, I just can't live without it. I keep one in my van and one in the shop. It's so awesome. Now, if you only have one dirt bike and you're not checking a sag on a bunch of bikes, probably overkill for you. But if you've got a grip of bikes, you're helping guys all the time, this tool is just really helpful. I think you get a better reading, more accurate reading every time because you can kind of check it. You can also run this up to the bars. I usually don't even do that. Usually have somebody else in there that can check it for me. So really cool product for checking sag. We just love this thing. This is one of the most unique and new products that I have found. This is a KTM headlight. Here we got our Baja light here. And MotoMinded has mounted this light. We've been using this stuff for years. Well, MotoMinded made this simple bracket. And this bracket, as you can see, it has little writing where everything goes. This bracket is what bolts to your forks. So it's going to sit like, it sits like this. So just right here, and you're going to zip tie this to your forks just like this. And what it does is it mounts your speedo moves up, so you can actually see your odometer, and speedo moves up here. And then everything has a proper mounting spot. So if you have an EXC or any trail bike that you're converting to an off-road, but for all EXC guys or Husky, dual sport guys, FE, this is a must. This thing is so cool and will change all that wiring crap, especially if you've added an aftermarket headlight. This piece from MotoMinded is just incredible. Really cool piece. Okay, so for years I've been gluing on grips, and I've said I didn't like lock-on grips because they were too thick. One of the things, I've been riding a lot more KTMs over the last few years, and as I've been doing it, they come stock with ODI clamp-on grips. After riding them for a while, I'm like, these aren't bad. At first I was cutting them off, put on the grips I like. In my head I'm like, I only like these grips. And I got my buddy Don, and he's like, I only like these grips. Everybody likes their grips, right? If you're old, you're used to gluing them on, wiring them on, and then after a while they still spin. And you have to redo it, re-glue them on, rewire them, all that. Lock-on grips, you don't have that problem. And what's really cool, the price, they've gotten the price in these things down to where it's not that bad because you come with so much. You get this and this right here, they come with different wheels. So, and it has a little, instruction sheet right here with the different cams that it comes with for different bikes. And this one pops right off, and then it fits a stock KTM. So the stock KTM is just this without the cam on, is the stock KTM for all the newer KTMs. And then this sheet will tell you which cam you need. Most all the cams are in here. There's a couple cases where you have a couple oddball ones and you have to get a separate cam. But they clamp right on, so easy. One of the things to remember, if you buy ODI bars, no big deal because they have already clearanced it. But a lot of the other bars, this left side grip will be too tight going on because they have knurling on the bar. You want to sand that knurling down before you put this on. Just sand it down. You're not going to hurt anything. Sand that off and you can put on these grips. I don't miss gluing grips on. I never thought I would switch on this for some reason. I always thought I would be a glue-on grip guy forever. I never thought I would switch, and it's been life-changing. So that's been pretty awesome. I do like them. They're also very easy. If you put wraparound handguards on and you need to cut off the end, you just get a razor blade right around the end, and you can cut the end off. Really nice, easy deal. Very simple. Okay, next thing. It's a mouthful so far. All balls. Of course, I work with these guys, but they make some really cool kits. And they have a bunch of kits for like brakes, brake rebuilds and all that. These carb kits are fairly new, and they come with all the pieces to rebuild a carb on your vintage dirt bike, but we still do plenty of two-strokes and older bikes. So again, carb kit from All Balls, really cool piece. Okay, so my next product, top product, is this style. I don't know what we want to call it, a Manzier style. If you're older, you would know that term. This style hydration pack, that rather than having a belt across here and a little one here, this style is just amazing. It changes the way you feel about carrying a pack of water. So it's just so nice. We keep a few tools in these. We have this USWE, and then also we have OGIO. We've been trying both of them. Pretty happy with both. We run 3-liter bottles in our hydration packs because we usually drink it all. And Spencer finishes his before mine. He's a big drinker, so we stay on those. But this style pack, wherever you get it, this style pack, I would go this Crossway. It just holds the weight so much better and doesn't feel like it's bothersome at all. So I really enjoy that. On Sprockets, Super Sprocks. Work with these guys also, but these stealth sprockets, now we've got a bunch of time on these, and we're finding that this hybrid aluminum steel sprocket, we've yet to have any problems with them. And durability wise, I mean, shoot, I think Rado's bike, I mean, we have bikes that are getting 80 to 100 hours plus on chain and sprockets. So year plus, we didn't really changed any because of wear. We will feel a little bit of bending, after a ton of time, the 80 to 120 hours, but still working fine. Plenty good, and we've had really good durability, and the price point's really well on those. So really like those sprockets. If you run them with a good O-ring chain, you can't go wrong. Next thing is radiator bracing. As you can see, this is off an older KX500 that was really beat up, and ICW does radiator bracing. What they do is they can straighten radiators and then also brace them up. And we've got just they do some amazing work. So we run those on a lot of our motocross bikes, and then a lot of the older bikes, it's getting to be where radiators are a lot more expensive than they used to be. Used to be you could just get a good deal on a new one. And I'm not a huge fan of aftermarket radiators. Everybody goes, well, I can get some radiators for $200 a set on eBay. I'm like, and that's fine. If you want to do that, it's fine. They usually work fine. What isn't good is nothing fits fine. Your hoses, your shrouds, nothing ends up fitting fine. That's a big downside I found with aftermarket radiators, and I've never been happy with that. So I usually just like to fix stock radiators. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit right there. Okay, skid plates. We've been using P3 products for a while on a lot of our builds, and they do some incredible carbon work. They've actually just started making lightweight supercross, motocross style skid plates that are a lot lighter than the heavy duty trail ones. This one weighs 3/4 pounds is it. And the one on our Yamaha we just built has smaller coverage. We'll get a picture of that. That Yamaha one only weighs like 0.58 pounds. It's a little trimmer and even thinner yet. So that's on our brand new Yamaha 250. So really trim, thin plates for motocross guys. They don't recommend it for trail use, not for trail use, but for motocross guys where it's just rocks and mud. Can't go wrong. Really cool that they've stepped up their innovation on carbon fiber. Okay, so there's been a lot of advances in helmets, and in just the last couple years, all the companies, TLD, Fly, Alpine Star, and this one's a UFO, all have very lightweight helmets that are more protective than the helmets we were wearing years ago, and they're way lighter, man. It's when you take a half a pound off your head, it just really helps you feel more comfortable on the bike, and especially on long trail rides, it's amazing. And I even have a video talking about wearing a mountain bike helmet trail riding on tight stuff. We do that some because it's so light and feels great. These lightweight helmets are amazing, and they also flow air very well, stay a little cooler. Real happy with this one and a lot of those other newer ones, but this one, it's amazing. Okay, so this is a Dunlop tire. Big surprise, I do work for Dunlop, but this is a new tire to the US that's just available right now, that's been available in other countries, but hasn't been available in the US for a long time, or forever. It's a K950, and it's a trials tire, as you can see, but it's a street legal dual sport tire. DOT approved, even in California, dual sport tire. We've been testing it a bit this summer, or quite a bit, and we've got quite a bit of hours on 2 of them already, and real pleased with it. And the performance has been amazing. So performance is good, and then the durability is surprisingly really well. And we run the D803 regular trials tire, and back to back on different trail bikes, it's hard for us to tell the difference on which one is better. We do feel like the 803 is probably a little bit better, but because it's a little softer, gummier compound than this one, but it's so hard to tell. And this one is street legal, and the durability has been amazing. So this thing really lasts really well. So a really good dual sport tire for guys out there, especially Dunlop guys. I did just a rear dual sport tire. That's all that's going to be available in this one, but plenty of good street legal options for the front. But this is a great tire that I think, even if you don't care so much about being street legal and you're doing a lot of trail riding and connecting, this could be a really good tire for you. If you're doing a lot of fire roads and connecting some stuff, we're pretty pleased with this tire. Dual sporting, we really feel like having a good mirror. A lot of guys just don't think they need a mirror, and they've gotten used to that because most of the mirrors kind of stink. So they don't hold up, they shake. There's no reason to even look through it. I like having a good mirror, and I just keep one on the left side. I used to run one underneath, but this double take mirror, first of all, this ball here bolts right into the stock KTM mount here. So if you have a KTM or Husky, works really nice, and there's a ball here, and then this ball goes on, and this thing can tuck away just like so. This is where it's at 90% of the time. And I can tighten this up, and as you can see, it's not in the way of anything right here. Hopefully that helps you out there, and if you're looking for a dual sport thing, I think you can't go wrong there. Okay, so another really cool new product that I've gotten used to is SpecBolt. And these guys make these really cool, really nicely coated bolts. And it's really great for a big project restoration like this, where you want to have all new bolts and nuts on an engine. This is a KX500 engine we're working on. And they gave us we got these kits here that you can get that have all the proper bolts and nuts and washers, everything for an engine or for the chassis. So SpecBolt makes some really cool stuff, and it's been on our bikes, it's been amazing to have these kind of little kits available that fit everything and just look amazing, as you can see. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is kind of 2 things that have kind of taken off in the last year, that for guys on motorcycle bikes that are doing any restoration or fixing stuff, is vapor blasting. And what vapor blasting is, I'll have a couple pictures here. I got a couple buddies that have vapor blasters. Think of a vapor blasting as like a sand blaster, but they use a media, not a sand. So it's like silicone, little pellets, little tiny pellets, and it's in water. So it's like blasting, and it just beats it, and it makes this like amazing, nice, almost better than new looking surface for a lot of things. So these pieces were machined billet out of billet, and they looked real shiny, which is okay, but they're not going to look good when they're after you ride it. So we went ahead and got these vapor blasted. This piece has been vapor blasted. It gets all those imperfections out, and it looks amazing, and it looks good for a long time like this. Also, we vapor blasted all the brake parts on this bike because it was older, and this bike's almost 30 years old or whatever it is. So we vapor blasted all this, and then we got it Cerakoted. Now Cerakoting is also another really popular thing that's taking off is basically it's like a paint. A lot of guys do it at home. There's some guys, Cameron has a channel and he shows how to do it yourself. You can do it yourself. There's a company in Florida called Motoblasters, and they do the vapor blasting and Cerakoting if you want to do both. Some guys have bought their own tanks, and there's even videos on there on making your own vapor blasting tanks, which you can do for like $500 or $600. You can make your own. There was guys selling vapor blasting build tanks for $5 grand. You know, but you can make your own for a reasonable price. If you have a compressor and access to air, you can make your own. So vapor blasting is really cool. Couple cautions for you. We vapor blasted these cases before we started. Vapor blasting an engine, you have to be extremely careful. You can vapor blast an engine before you tear it apart. Don't ever vapor blast an engine and think you're not going to have to tear it apart, because the little media gets into the engine through the seals, O-rings. It gets in there. There's no way to block it off perfect. We've tried, and I've talked to other engine builders and stuff. They've all tried, and you can't do it. The media gets in there. And when we took this engine apart, Donnie will know, we took it apart. There was that vapor blasting junk everywhere. But it was nice to be able to do it before, because our cases look amazing. As you can see, we cleaned them first and then we vapor blasted them, and they came out just amazing. And then we got some of these other pieces Cerakoted to make some nice accents on this engine. So vapor blasting and Cerakoting, just some really good trick things you can do if you're looking to restore a bike, and fairly low cost too to make the stuff look really good. You can do this to all the pieces that are external aluminum, work really well. As you can see, they even Cerakoted this plastic reservoir, and it came out looking really cool. So that's really nice what Motoblasters did on that piece. So really cool ideas there, and they even do the rubber pieces and airbox pieces. We vapor blasted those plastic pieces on a bunch of bikes and this year, and they've worked out really well. So vapor blasting, Cerakoting can be great for your restoration projects. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is we've been doing a lot of GoPro videos you see in our channel, and we've been using that Dango mount. Dango, kind of a cool name, but anyway, the mount just clamps right on the front of your helmet. Works really well. The only helmets we found it didn't work well with are the TLD helmets. They have a little bar in the front, so if you have a center bar in the front, they don't clamp on quite as well. But everything else we've used it on, it works really well. It's kind of nice because you can clip it on, and then you can just clip it, hand it over to your buddy, whatever. He can clip it on his helmet and go ride around. You can also, it has a little strap, and you can run the strap through your helmet strap, so that if it ever did fall off, which we've never had it happen, if it ever did fall off, you wouldn't fall to the ground. It would catch, and you could stop and fix it. But this Dango mount is really cool. We've been real happy with it. Really cool product, reasonable price. That spring is really tight when it clamps on, and mounting up your camera, we would use GoPros, but I'm sure it looks like you can use any action camera on there. But the GoPro one mounts right up, really nice, and it gives a really cool view when you're riding. You can see your hands a bit, and then also out onto the track or trail in front of you. Okay, so for helmet lights, we have now started riding at night a little bit. I'm a little old and not that into it. Spencer's really loving it, riding at night. And we got some really cool lights set up from Moto Minded. Baja designed lights that Moto Minded makes mounts for on your helmet. And these lights, in some ways, are better than a stock light like that comes on an XC or EXC. Just one helmet light will last 2 to 3 hours with a good battery pack. 2 to 4 hours, really, depends on how bright you're keeping it. And Spencer's got a really cool setup that he's been running, even with 2 lights and our high-powered light on our Baja light on our EXC. So he has, and we have a video on night riding that you can check out as well. But these helmet lights from Moto Minded Baja, it's next level. So, and there are other options out there. Thumper Jockey is the other one that's really cool lights. And on the ones we're using from Moto Minded, they use a battery pack that's kind of like it's the same one you'd use to jumpstart your car and everything. It's a rather expensive investment, I think, in getting it all set up, but it will fit right in your hydration pack. And so these lights are a really good option if you know you're leaving late in the afternoon and maybe you're just going to ride back the last bit of the trail back. It's a great option. You can have the light in your pack with everything, and so on the way back you can put the light on. Good option for guys that don't have a backup headlight on their bike. They're riding a motocross bike or an XC without any light. This is a great way to ensure that you can get back without a light. If you've ever ridden back in the dark without a headlight, which we have, it's not very fun. You're all crowded on the 1 or 2 guys that have a headlight and just fighting your way back. I've crashed in the dark. It's not fun. So really good helmet lights have come a long way, and the battery packs are really cool to keep those going. Okay, so our next and one of my favorite new products, this is one of my favorite new products for 2020, and the idea has been around a long time, and especially this is really for KTM's off-road bikes, which a lot of guys are on, EXCs, XCs, XCWs, any of those bikes. If you've ever caught your shroud, which I have, on a sapling or a tree branch, it'll rip the shroud off. And there's only 2 bolts holding it onto the radiator. It'll rip it off. And it'll ruin those 2 bolt holes for your shroud. I've done it. So they make a little kit with 2 bands for each side. And it comes with these bolts. And you put the bolts in on these longer bolts, or like the fork guard bolts. And they have room for these straps to go across. And on their, now they one clicker here to this deal is you need to run their radiator guards, which I don't have their radiator guards on all of our bikes, but I'm going to show you here in this picture. You can see we've modified them to fit on these Enduro engineering guards, and also on their guards you just bolt in the bolts. They have threaded spots. You can bolt these in, and it makes it really a lot easier to run them across. So what's nice is these run across, and so what that means is your shroud is just going to move out and give, or you could tear the rubber strap before you break the plastic, and that's what they've kind of found. So if you get a severe one that pulls it back, really good, smart thinking, low cost little upgrade to help save your shrouds for all the off-road bikes. And so you won't have bolts holding it, you just have those bands holding it. Really nice deal. Okay, so seat covers are a huge part of all my project bikes, and Motoseat I've been dealing with a long time, so it's not like it's new. But one of the things I'll say about Motoseat is they make just a wide range of seats, and as you can see in all of our project builds, we do so many. We're doing 25 to 30 of these a year, and all of them have different combinations of seats. A lot of times we'll just do an all black one like this for a trail bike with even this Kevlar in here reinforced that won't get all dirty. This will be on for a long time and look good, easy to clean. And then we'll do stuff that pops off more with white and grays and all those different colors. You can send them your seat and they'll refurb it, new foam, whatever you need, and mount it. Or you can just get a seat cover from them and do it yourself. If you got a guy that's got the good staple gun or upholstery guy locally, you can get it done up, and they just come out amazing, really good fitment. Another good product. Okay, so that's been a fun look at all these, some of the best products I've found for 2020. Some great stuff, and also a couple tips in there with not just products, but some services with the Cerakoting and Vaporblasting. But hopefully that helps you out. A lot of good products out there. Hopefully that helps you out in your shopping, and we'll see you out the track or trail soon.